They say daughters often marry men like their fathers, and I now see the truth in that. My dad taught me through his actions what true masculinity, character, and fatherhood mean. His quiet wisdom, inner strength, and unconditional love have shaped me profoundly. While we have an outwardly laconic relationship typical of fathers and teen daughters, the bond and mutual respect run deep. I strive to one day raise children with the same balance of humor, wisdom, and devotion he modeled for me. On the surface, my dad Jeff seems like another overworked middle-aged guy rushing through life with little time for fun or deep talks. But his wry wit and sage advice reveal a thoughtful philosopher beneath the buttoned-up shirts. My dad builds spreadsheets by day in his office cubicle, but still finds joy strumming Bob Dylan songs by the campfire at night. He teaches me to pursue passion alongside pragmatism. Dad instilled in me the value of diligence and determination from a young age. I remember trying to rush through math homework to meet friends until my dad sat me down and explained, "Anything worth doing is worth doing right." He knew I could apply more effort. Dad didn't coddle with false praise, but inspired growth by expecting more. Thanks to his quiet push, I learned to persevere. But Dad also taught the importance of balance. He never missed my school plays or awards nights, despite his busy work schedule. On weekends he unplugged from cell phones and laptops to soak up family time. He modeled hard work during weekdays but unhurried presence on weekends. That balance of drive and restfulness guides me still today. His ethic showed achievement need not come at the cost of relationships. Dad also instilled in me a spirit of frugality and gratitude that counters today's excessive consumerism. We take thrifty staycations exploring state parks rather than lavish cruises. He buys modest used cars and keeps them running for years. Dad can spend hours enthralled by a baseball game on TV rather than status symbols. His simple joys teach me happiness resides in presence, not possessions. What connects us most is our shared love of learning. Dad spends weekends buried in history books, listening to audio lectures, and watching cerebral documentaries just for curiosity's sake. He retells stories of inventions and scientists that enchanted me as a child. In college, we debated politics and philosophy passionately into the night. My endless questioning never exhausted him. His hunger for knowledge kindled my own lifelong love of the life of the mind. My most poignant childhood memories with Dad involve our meandering hikes together. We'd set off into the woods behind our house for hours, stopping to identify plants, insects, and birds. He taught me to appreciate nature's nuances, the way sunlight filters through the canopy, babbling brooks, wildflowers, and stone chambers cloaked in moss. Together in the hushed forest, discussions flowed effortlessly. Those rambling walks profoundly bonded us. Of course, Dad and I have never been overly sentimental. The closest we come to heartfelt talks is during long drives together. His guard lowers behind the wheel and he shares wisdom quietly. As a teen, I rolled my eyes hearing the same stories and corny jokes. But today I appreciate our intimate chats within the cocoon of a car, suspended between destinations. The mileage knits our bond. Dad instilled in me self-sufficiency by teaching basic home and auto maintenance instead of coddling me as daddy's girl. He made me change tires, oil, and spark plugs myself instead of summoning a mechanic. I learned to install appliances, snake-clogged drains, and build bookshelves thanks to patient teaching versus impatient sighs at my navet. Empowering me to tackle challenges with my own capable hands was Dad's greatest gift. For Dad's gruff exterior, inside he is a sentimental softie. He tears up at my life milestones, from first apartment to college graduation. The man who still uses a flip phone will text me the heart emoji. I pretend to groan when Dad dips me into an impromptu waltz in the kitchen or serenades me with Neil Diamond. His bear hugs and off-key singing represent a million I love yous. His quiet devotion speaks volumes. Dad and I have forged new traditions since I moved away from home as a young adult. We go hiking together when I visit home, still wandering and chatting for hours. We squeeze in wine tasting or museums between family gatherings, enjoying quality one-on-one time. Parting ways, he always passes me an envelope with newspaper clippings he thinks I'll find interesting, his shy way of saying he misses me. Even as life evolves, we cultivate our bond. Of course, Dad and I have endured stresses that inevitably arise between parents and independent adult children. Leaving the nest invited difficult conversations about politics, religion, and social issues where our views diverge. Navigating those landmines has required empathy and maturity on both our parts. There are the natural tensions all families face as roles evolve. But he remains my wise counsel even when we disagree. As Dad ages, I notice his invincible father aura chipping away to reveal his vulnerabilities. When he winced silently changing a light bulb with arthritic hands, my heart ached seeing his mortality. The man who could fix anything needs caring for. But true to his contained nature, Dad despises pity. We bond now over researching supplements for joint pain or the latest health hacks. Caring for parents as they cared for you represents life coming full circle. Despite raised voices in teenage years, today Dad is one of my greatest cheerleaders and confidants. We are kindred homebody spirits. We share the same sarcastic humor and earnest Hemingway novels. No man could live up to Dad's resilience, intellect, and steady leadership by example. The compass etched into my character's core by his humble guidance will never waver. Dad didn't just raise me, his love helped shape the human I become. Of course, our relationship is far from perfect. We clash occasionally when I act entitled or he gets stubborn. Patience with each other still requires work. I wish deeply for more sisters now to balance out my stoic brothers. But for all our differences, Dad and I share an unbreakable bond. That quiet kinship reminds me I'm never alone. When I inevitably face struggles in relationships, work, or with my own kids, Dad is the first one I turn to for perspective. Despite life pulling us in different directions, somehow we always manage to pick up right where we left off, whether months have passed or just minutes. Dad's safe haven of unconditional support centers me, now more than ever. I know the refuge of his listening ear and enveloping hugs will remain until his last breath. My cerebral father, who loves discussing ancient history and quantum physics, now inspires me most through his quiet humility. He models grit without complaint when life throws punches, like when he lost his job. He admits mistakes and changes course rather than insisting he knows best. Dad shows me true masculinity lies in compassion, not bravado. His greatest lessons shine through most during life's unexpected detours. Someday when I have my own family, I hope to emulate that delicate balancing act Dad perfected, nurturing creativity and curiosity in children while instilling work ethic, self-reliance, and grit. Teaching them to be tender but tough, resourceful but generous. Shaping minds flexible enough to question yet loyal enough to love fiercely. Dad gifted me the roots to grow and wings to fly. For that foundation, I am forever grateful.